Truth and Mystery with your host, Dr. Douglas James Cottrell. We are journeying together through the deeper meanings behind today's world events, ancient wisdom, and the quiet whispers of the divine. We're going to reflect, remember, and reconnect. If this is your first time with us, welcome to the family. Make sure to follow us and ring that bell, check those checks, and click on that link to subscribe wherever you're watching and listening from wherever you are in the world. This show isn't just a broadcast. It's a broadcast with intention, with spirit, and with love. Now, here is Douglas.
Good evening, friends, or should I say Happy New Year. Yes, it's that time of year. It's Chinese New Year, and here we are entering this time. It's called the Year of the Horse. Now, every Chinese New Year is assigned an animal, and they rotate, all the time, like normal astrology would be. And every 60 years or so, we get back to the same time, the same element, and the same year as a horse. Every horse year has an element: metal, wood, earth, water, and fire. And this year, it's the fire horse year, which has some pretty interesting things and events that are going to happen. Well, here we are. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas James Cottrell, and tonight we are going to gallop into a new energetic cycle. This is the new year of the Chinese year of the year of the horse. In Chinese astrology, we are not just looking at personality traits. We're looking at cosmic weather patterns, cycles of time that influence society, leadership, economics, emotion, and destiny. Just as the tides pull the moon, so too human affairs are influenced by reoccurring patterns of time. So let's begin with this. Absolutely begin with this. Astrology does not control you. It informs you. It offers tendencies, not tyranny. Sort of some fun-filled time tonight in this show. We're going to ask you to email us at soulreportlive@gmail.com with your questions. We'll answer just about any question you have, provided it doesn't embarrass somebody, okay? Or isn't part of, like one of those secret questions behind the scenes that we have to have classified clearance for. And we're going to ask you to enter your questions, and Oz is co-producing the show. He will ask your questions on your behalf. Alternatively, you can enter them in the chat. So do that, and we'll see if we can help you out and make this a fun show tonight. So if you're a horse, tiger, dog, or monkey, 2026 may be your year to leap forward. If you're an ox like me, well, we stay calm, all of us ox, while everyone gallops forward. Your zodiac sign describes tendencies, not destiny. The fire horse brings energy, but your choices determine the direction. Always remember that. Numerology, astrology, and other forms of divinity doesn't actually control your destiny. Your free will and free choice does. Now, destiny means there are tendencies and events that are going to happen in your life. Absolutely. For instance, if it's your destiny to work in construction, then you will find yourself working in construction. But whatever trade you choose or whatever position you choose, that's your free will. Your free will choosing what and how you're going to work in construction. You could be a dump truck driver. You could be the architect. You could be the landowner. You could be the cement mixer. You could be the bricklayer. You could be the internal decorator. You could be the fellow that paves the floors, or the painter, etc., etc. So the point is that between destiny and free will and free choice, you have tendencies or destiny. You're going to be, by your soul's choice alone, in a certain activity in your life. And how you interact with that activity, your destiny, you have free will and free choice. It's kind of like this. The famous Alan Spraggett of The World of the Unexplained once said it this way: your life in destiny is like you are writing a letter. You have the intention in your mind of what you're going to put into that letter. That's your destiny. How you write the sentences, the words you choose, the sentence structure, the paragraphs you choose, the pages you use, that is your free will. How you write the letter to describe what the intention was in the first place. So a little bit of 2 cents worth there if you're wondering about, fate and destiny versus free will and free choice. That's the simplest way it was explained to me. Again, the man was named Alan Spraggett, and you might want to look him up. He's an old time guy now, but back in the day, he was pretty popular on TV, bringing forth new age concepts like things that were unexplained. Look him up. He was a wonderful man. So, what is the year of the horse? Well, in Chinese astrology, it symbolizes, and I'll get to all the others. Find out what animal you are in Chinese astrology. Get to that in a minute. But in Chinese astrology, the horse, or people born in the year of the horse, like all those people that are born from tomorrow through to the rest of the year, for the next 12 months, they will represent or symbolize, or the horse symbolizes, and they'll have this in their life: freedom, movement, momentum, adventure. They'll be a little rebellious, and they'll be passionate. They'll have independence, and they'll have sudden shifts. That is to say, this is what we look forward in this year, and this will sort of follow into the people that are born as in the horse year. However, when we add the fire element, this is the important one: metal, water, earth, air, fire. This is the element that's attached to the year. Okay, so, and again, all those 5 elements, each time a horse year comes up, the element changes to the next one in cycle. So, a fire element, you as somebody born in this year, in 2026, you're going to have intensity. I guess these little babies, when we find out when they get a little bit older, okay. But however, if you are a fire element horse influence person, you're going to have intensity, speed, you'll have charisma, you'll have emotional volatility. Oh my gosh. You'll have breakthrough energy. You'll be able to get through things, I guess, really fast and break out when other people are sort of sitting on the sidelines. You have a revolutionary spirit. Well, if you think about it, that's pretty neat. If you're a horse and you have fire, it would say that you have a lot of speed and charisma. To think of a stallion or a racehorse and how beautiful and wonderful they are. But you'll also have a revolutionary spirit. I guess that means you'll be a little bit of somebody like me, like somebody that just has a problem with authority. Fire horse years only occur every 60 years, as I said a minute ago. The last fire horse year was 1966. 1966. That was the year I got my driver's license. A year of cultural revolution globally. Think about this. What happened in 1966? Social revolutions. The Vietnam War was on. The hippie movement was going. There were in the field cameras in Vietnam watching the combat. There were upheavals in the government, political upheavals. Well, let's stick to the program here, and we're going to talk about the 1966 had social revolutions, as I said, cultural upheavals, youth rebellion, and transformation. That's the hippie movement. I was not a hippie. I was a straight guy. I had long hair down just over my ears, and my future father-in-law thought that I was a wild guy for having longish hair. However, some of my friends in high school, you couldn't tell the guys from the girls when they were walking away from you. Okay, so there were 5 years that ignited change from 1966. Horse years refuse restraint. There was absolutely no restraint. It was the hippies, it was the yippies, it was, there was a movement towards marijuana or pot. There were those like myself that did refuse, and there were other people that swore by it, and I think they got gobbled up by that. But anyway, that's what happened back in 1966 from my old memory. This combination of fire horses and these aspects of it combine with in combination produce energy that says break the old and ride into the new. You know, my father couldn't understand the hippie movement. I couldn't understand it, and I was going to high school. So, break the old, it certainly did. And of course, civil rights was a big thing, and a lot of upheaval was there, all for good, all for good. But it was a struggle. Now, let's move forward. What might 2026 look like? Now, these are tendencies, again, not certainties, okay? In this show, we're putting forth what we have here and what I've done my research. So, the likely global themes: rapid political shifts, youth led movements. I saw today in the news that President Obama has suggested that the Democratic Party members age out, is the term he used. And I guess he was referring to the older members of the party, referring to a younger movement that the Democrats are going to try to bring forward, unleash the power of the younger Democrats. So, youth led movements, we're going to see more of that this year. Technological acceleration. Well, we're on our way to the moon, aren't we? And we're planning a trip to Mars. AI is just everywhere. And as you can see, medical breakthroughs using AI and other aspects of technological acceleration are taking place and will be accelerated here in the next 12 months. Economic volatility. Well, we got a little flavor of that when gold went from $3,000 to $6,000 thereabouts. And again, volatility in the metals market is still taking place. It's spilling over into the precious metals and precious and semi-precious gems or stones. Do you have a ring on your finger that you had a few years ago that might be worth $1,000 when you bought it? It might be worth double, triple, quadruple that now. Pay attention to gems and semi-precious gems, or rings and what's the word I'm looking for? Precious stones. They'll be on the upswing this year. Bold leadership rises and falls. So I guess that means we're going to see sort of a roller coaster ride with bold leadership. I predicted before in 2028 we're going to see, perhaps 2026 as well, in the elections in the fall, we're going to see the independent movement come up the middle between the Republicans and the Democrats. I don't vote and I don't take sides, but understand this is a vision I had, and I predicted this maybe a couple of years ago. So look out, the independents are on the rise. People demanding autonomy. Does that mean we're going to have some issues with Taiwan and China? Does that mean we're going to have some issues in various countries that are now sort of dependent on dictatorships or dependent on leaders who have been tyrants? Perhaps so. People in Greenland are still producing autonomy and putting it out there. No, America, go home. Canada has established an embassy there, and says, I think, Switzerland as well. So Greenland is in the works of having autonomy. Increased spiritual seeking. I've noticed it already started. There are people who are thirsty to understand the spiritual ways, the spiritual world, the spiritual development, and the spiritual experiences. I'm going to teach you that, my friends. I'm going to teach you from what I know of my long life of 50 years in this spiritual world, as will others out there who are credible people and people in the knowledge. But there's an increase in wanting to know about spiritual things. I'm assuming that means a return to God, to understand the spiritual words, that words of wisdom and guidance that have been given in the past. It follows. It's natural. When the world is in great difficulty, when people are having problems, who do they turn to? They turn to God. You know, there's an old saying that my friends in the armed forces used to say, and that is, you'll never find an atheist in a foxhole. So everybody's seeking belief in God. This time, this extremely difficult time, this time of change or renovation, as I have predicted to be, you're going to find people naturally seeking the truth, seeking God to come to their aid, to help them to get close to God so that they can find the truth. Indeed, there's a shadow over the world at this time, the shadow uh, of darkness, of negativity, of indifference, of inhumanity to the people on the world. And we're going to seek God's help. We're going to find angels coming to our aid. We're going to ask the watchers to come over and help us. We're going to ask the divine beings from all the faiths, because they're all the same up there. You know, heaven doesn't have different neighborhoods, it has many mansions, which is many levels of consciousness, or many, let's say, levels or planes of consciousness. The higher you go, the more you're aware and the more you're self realized, and the more you find a great understanding and have within you the ability to love unconditionally. So, as we continue seeking spiritually, it makes sense that this would be the year. The fire horse does not tolerate stagnation. So, you can expect this year to be one of motivation, one of acceleration, and one of completion, and one of exaggeration to the greatest extent in all the positive things that we can see. The fire horse does not tolerate stagnation. It exposes hypocrisy. It challenges authority. It burns away weakness. So let's have a look at this. That can't look chaotic. It must look like an awakening. So if you're in this, if you're hearing my voice tonight, I appreciate that you would tell people about our show. We're going to bring you hope. We're going to teach you the ways of the spiritual world. We're going to help you illuminate the words of the Messiah, the words of wisdom from all the sages and all those who are spiritual teachers, those who walk with us, those who give us dreams to see the future, those who assist us in knowing what the right way it is for us to develop our spiritual gifts. You are, if you're a spiritual seeker, a practical spiritual being, you are, let us say, obligated or persuaded or influenced to develop your spiritual gifts. They're written in all the holy books. They start with prophecy. They start with being able to love unconditionally. They start with dreams and the interpretation of dreams and visions. And you develop this ability to come closer and closer to be the Messiah like, Christ like, or like any of the spiritual masters of all the faiths that you adhere to. You know, your religion is a demonstration of the way you are seeking to understand God Almighty. It's not the only way. I've often said this, and people are now saying it more and more here and there. And for years I've been saying the approach to God is like a mountain. There are many paths up the same mountain, but there's only one peak. So all the paths of all the religions lead to the understanding, if you will, to the household of God Almighty. So we're going to see more of that this year. And I'd like you to, again, subscribe to this show and view it again. It's on YouTube and other social media. And tell your friends about it, because we hope to help you become more aware, help you to become self realized and then fully realized. We don't take you the whole distance. I'll help you with a few steps here and there, but I'm sure you will appreciate this show and what we're doing to help you become a better, more spiritual person, a practical spiritual person. That is to say, practicing practical spirituality. There you go, there's a mouthful. So, as we continue with the show, I'm going to go to our producer Oz and say we have some fun facts. We're going to get right back to the good and bad fire horses and the blessings they have. Oz, we have some fun facts. What do we have tonight?
Yeah, we got a couple things here. So everyone knows the Chinese New Year, and they know it's also called the Spring Festival. So it's the beginning of the new year, but um, it's also they shoot off fireworks and there's a lot of red colored things. Why is that? Well, that's because the legend that started the new year was involved a monster called Nyan, and Nyan would attack villagers at the start of the new year. And people discovered that Nyan was scared of loud noises, fire, and the color red.
Wow.
and thus customs like fireworks and red decorations.
So to get rid of the negativity, one should be like wearing a red T-shirt and a red hat, not a mega hat, but a red hat, and and you should have some fire around you somewhere, like firecrackers or something. Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. And the cycle you mentioned it earlier. Starts with the rat and goes. There's 12
Yeah.
animals, and ends with the pig, and it's the same. It repeats. And why is that? Well, the Chinese symbols and animals are based on a legend where the Jade Emperor invited animals to a race. The order they finish determines the cycle.
Oh
So
wow.
that's why they're in that the cycle. Yeah.
So let me interject here and say, because I have them listed here, we can tell people what they are, I guess. If I can just pull it up here. So the winner of the race, number one, was a rat. A close second was the ox. Coming in third was the tiger, and the rabbit was in fourth place. Then came the dragon, then the snake, then the horse, and then the goat or sheep, and then the last was monkey, rooster, and then dog, and the piggy was the last one to win the race. There you go, my friends. I'll say them again: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, and goat or sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. After pig, it goes back to the cycle again. It starts with the rat. Okay, Jack. Next, I did not know that that's how it came about. That there was a race. Can
Yeah.
you imagine a rat beating a rabbit or a rooster?
Well, maybe the rabbit stopped to have a snack.
Okay. What else you got?
Oh, yeah. Well, different cultural regions do different things. And in Tibet, they have a tradition of drinking yak butter tea.
Yak
Yak
butter
butter,
tea. Is that yak? That's an animal, right? And they were
right?
milking
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's like an ox kind of an animal. Yeah. So they make butter, I guess, from the milk of the yak, and they combine it with salt, water, and roasted barley flour. So it's like a thick kind of a porridge kind of a tea. And it's boiled for a long time to create a dense, dark concentrate, which is the base of the drink. And it's interesting to note a Tibetan may drink upwards of 30 to 60 cups a day of this tea.
Of the of this alleged tea. It it sounds to me like glue. Holy moly! You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
not to make fun, but from what you described, I have this look at like there's this drink that looks like Guinness beer, and then you look in it and it looks like pudding, and then it's really thick. How many glasses of that a day?
And it said upwards of 30 to 60.
Wow, must be a lot of yaks in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it says especially if they live in cold, high places. So maybe it's a good way to warm the bones.
Yeah, 60 your ribs, as they say. Holy moly!
But it's also a sign of hospitality. Refusing a cup without an explanation can be disrespectful.
I'll remember that next time I'm in yak country. Holy moly! Like wow, I guess so. Like that's a lot of effort, right? Salt and other ingredients that are hard to get, butter, and of course somebody had to milk the yak. So yeah, I would think a lot of effort went into that, but that's a lot of a volume of that. Wow. But I guess up in the what they call them the steppes. There's not a whole lot of vegetation up there. Carrots and potatoes don't grow there, so I guess this would make a good substitute.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. Yeah, I'm gonna remember that. I did not know that. So everybody, when somebody offers you a glass of yak, you got to say yep. Okay. What else you got?
there's a lot of special foods that are eaten for good luck, like dumplings, fish, rice cakes, and spring rolls. And dumplings resemble ancient money for wealth, so they're symbolic. These foods that they drink and eat. Um, and in different parts of the China, they use different foods. So dumplings are the centerpiece in the northern regions, and in the southern regions, they eat sticky rice
Mm,
or sweet glutinous rice bowl balls.
that's my favorite. I love sticky rice.
You love sticky rice? Yeah. So it's interesting to see how the things are different from place to place.
I guess would that be like dim sum where they would have steamed vegetables? I heard that dim sum was only for older people because it was steamed and the older people had difficulty swallowing. So
Mhm.
the foods that were offered in dim sum were for older people so they could swallow easy. But I always liked dim sum about everything, and I've been to some places in Chinatown where they had dim sum 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Um,
Okay,
so in some places they eat fish to bring luck for wealth, and that's because the word fish in Chinese sounds like the word surplus.
fantastic prosperity.
Yeah. So,
I know when
so
I go to Chinese restaurants, they always have right by the door, they have a pool or a pond, and then inside they have goldfish and a lot of fish. And someone told me that they do that for feng shui reasons. It's supposed to bring prosperity as well.
yeah. And let's see, the New Year's celebration that is 15 days.
Okay, so for the
And,
middle of
and
February to the end of February or thereabouts, it's a celebration every day.
yeah, and
Wow.
ends with a lantern festival. So,
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. I appreciate those facts that I learn something every day. But the yak juice, yak tea, well, we'll kind of just keep that on the back burner. But everything else sounds wonderful to me. Do we have anybody sending any emails? Everybody want to ask a question or contribute to the show? It's the Soul Report soulreportlive@gmail.com. And if you're listening right here, right now, live, you can send us a text in the chat, and Oz will bring it on air for you. Do we have
uh,
any inquiring minds at this point,
we
Oz?
do. We have one. I think this is related. We have a question here about, you know, the diet is what contributes to pimples. Uh, you know, you think that has something? If you had too much yak tea, maybe you'd have a few extra pimples, or
Well, we'll have to get somebody from the Tibetan steppes on the show. Somebody that's visiting here, and we'll get them to explain what it's like. They, it's a hardy existence. I think of Genghis Khan and all those times how they amassed an army that almost they went right to the UK and they almost ruled the world. And that I think was the death of Genghis Khan. His four sons who were his four generals, decided to not continue on to England, and they sort of turned around and went home. And I guess uh, governing that large mass from again, from Tibet all the way to England, that would be pretty difficult. But they didn't fool around. They had an iron fist, that's for sure, back in the day. But as far as diet goes, I think remember um, there are different diets, different different foods for everyone. And somebody once said, wrote a book, I think it was, that uh, the best medicine is the food you eat, or the food you eat is medicine for the body. And of course, there are foods you shouldn't eat, like processed food that wasn't found in nature, and anything in excess, like fats and sugars and grease and carbonated things, that's not good for the body. So if it's found in nature, whatever it is, it's okay to take in moderation. But I think the society of Chinese, and they do that. They say, "Let me take your pulse," and they put their fingers on the wrist, and they're taking note of your chi energy that's going through your body. You can actually feel it. It's right. There's a nice spot here on your wrist, not your pulse. It's on the top of your wrist, and you can actually right there's a little hollow there, right about there, and you can feel that pulse. And when you have acupuncture, it has a stronger pulse. Did you know that? I found that out by trial and error myself. But it's not your pulse, it's a little hollow right here, and you can feel it. And it goes blur, 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 blur. Okay, so there's a lesson on uh, acupuncture and a little bit on G energy. So listen, let's take a short break. It's half past the hour. If you want to get on the show, send an email to the Soul Report Live at gmail.com or send us a text in the chat. We'll be right back after a short break.
Are you ready for the future? A future filled with challenges, changes, and opportunities? Discover The New Earth by Douglas James Cottrell, PhD, a groundbreaking guide to understanding the evolution of our planet. Learn how to prepare yourself and your loved ones for the unpredictable. With insights from the Akashic Records and quantum meditation, this book offers precise predictions and practical advice. Explore how geographic areas will be affected and become a co-creator in shaping the new era of our planet. Over 370 pages of essential knowledge. Secure your ultimate guide to the future. Order The New Earth today.
Okay, everyone, we're back. We're talking about the fire horse energy, the good and the bad. The blessings of being born in a fire horse year, the energies are courage, innovation, independence, spiritual breakthroughs, I guess illumination and ascension, personal empowerment, entrepreneurial success. So those people who are born this year and 2026 moving forward should have amazing lives with entrepreneurial success, personal empowerment. Leadership will come to them. They'll have courage, they'll be innovators, they'll be independent, and they'll have spiritual breakthroughs. So move it forward 14, 16, 18 years from now, we're going to have an amazing group of teenagers who were born this year. By the way, some people that were born this year, I think if I can draw that up again, some of the more important ones in our life, you'll be surprised. These were people who are famous and more notable as horse personalities. Oprah Winfrey was born in 1954 and the element was wood. Paul McCartney from Beatle fame was born in 1942 and he has the water influence. Aretha Franklin, 1942, is a water horse the same as Paul. And Nelson Mandela had an earth influence. Clint Eastwood, one of my favorite movie stars, 1930, has a metal influence. That's like metal, different to wood. Denzel Washington, 1954, is a wood horse. And Kobe Bryant, in 1978, is an earth horse. Common traits are strong-willed, charismatic, natural leaders, and independent thinkers. Horse people rarely follow the herd, right? They lead it. So again, those are some notable people who were born in this year of the horse. So as we move forward in understanding this time that's in front of us, we need to look at things and say, okay, what are the challenges of horse people? Well, their impulsiveness, their ego-driven decisions, conflict escalation, they burn out, and they have reckless behavior. Well, that's the yin and yang of it all. The fire horse asked, "Are you riding the, are you riding the fire or letting it burn you?" So there we go. Past years, if of horses, 1914, 2002, 1990, 1978, 1966, 1954, and 1942. Fire horse years specifically are 1906, 1966, and this year, 2066. So again, this is an amazing year for people who are born in 2026. But again, it's tendencies. There is no good or bad year. Somebody once asked me, what's the best or the worst astrological sign? There is none. It's just a pattern. And your soul chose when you wanted to come into the world. So the people who are born through these different signs in the Chinese zodiac, or the regular astrology that we go by in the West, the soul has entered into the world in this time, and in the location in the world, and in the parents and family that are in the world. They've chosen this, you have chosen this, and it lines up with your soul's purpose. Fire horses historically coincide with social revolutions, rapid cultural change, political upheavals, and rewriting of the norms. Here we are, we're about to go to the 2026 midterms. There are certain changes, my God, all over the world, from Venezuela to Ukraine, to the Middle East, to Taiwan, to Washington, and to whatever's going on in the country. There is social revolution taking place. The voices are going to get louder. This is the fire horse influence upon all the people in the world. Remember, the influence is around the world. It's not just one country. So these influences by the astrologers and the influences of what we're looking at the show tonight, Chinese influences, they're affecting everybody. Whether you know it or not, it doesn't matter. It's what's happening to you. It's going to happen anyway. You're going to see social revolutions. You're going to see rapid cultural change. You're going to see political upheaval. But you'll just be watching news and you go, wow, isn't that interesting? Or you might feel the sense to get involved in these things. But again, it's tendency, my friend. It's not destiny. Famous people born in these years I've given you have had wonderful, amazing lifetimes, ups and downs. Nothing is easy for anyone. Common traits, again, strong-willed people, natural leaders, independent thinkers. These are specifically, let's say, in abundance for people who are born in the year of the horse, but it's also an influence that's going on above us now. For instance, I'm an ox. So the ox-horse traits have a dynamic relationship. They are, an ox is steady, grounded, disciplined, traditional, patient, and a builder. Horse energy is fast, restless, rebellious, dynamic, and impulsive. For me, especially in 2026, I guess these are the tendencies that's going to happen to myself and other people. The horse may challenge your steady ox nature. What was the order? I think the ox came in second and the horse came in something like seventh. So in that race to be named. So maybe there's something to that. So it's telling me this may be a year you feel pressure to move faster. You may be called to adapt. Old structures you rely on may shift, and new opportunities may require bold decisions. Well, I'm up for it. So let's stay grounded, don't rush, and don't resist necessary change, it says to me. This can be a powerful year for expanding your show, trying new formulas, taking calculated risks, but not impulsive ones. Well, finally, at my age, I'm learning to be wise and not impulsive. Okay. Hey, did you know there's some famous Chinese astrologers? Have you noticed that we've alluded to the Chinese influences of the Chinese astrological signs, and they have incorporated some feng shui? If you know what feng shui is, you have to get a book. You have to talk to a master. You have to take a course in it. But feng shui lays out the way Your house should be arranged. You should have a plant in your house. You should not have the staircase going right down to your front door and out the door. If you do, you need to put a mirror to stop the energy which is flowing through your house. So you put a mirror at the door. It's better to go down and have to make a turn so that the energy doesn't flow outside your house. Those kinds of simple things about feng shui I found to be helpful. I have found to be helpful. There's a story of my friends in Spain, and uh, they had a situation where they were trying to sell a property, Santiago and his wife Gabby. And so they called up their master in China. They had taken a course there. They're Spanish speaking people, they're Spanish people. And he told them to walk 60 paces away from their house in a certain direction, let's say east, and then to plant a wooden stake in the ground. And that was supposed to stop the negative vibrations that were preventing the sale of their house or property. Well, I'm pleased to report that they did it and their house sold. Coincidence or chance, you say? Maybe. But their house and property was unable to be sold for months. But as soon as they put that stake in the ground, in very short order, they had an offer. So the idea that this was grounding the negativity or whatever the block was from selling their property truly happened to them. One of the stories I've heard. So there are Chinese astrologers like Zhou Yap, internationally known Chinese metaphysics master. There's Master Ray Lo, a respected Hong Kong astrologer. Lillian Tu, that's with Too, was a feng shui instructor and astrological author in the West. The Grand Master Yep Xing Hai is deceased, but his influence is still felt in the world. Short notice may be difficult to get in touch with these people, but again, it's something to look up and see what they're all about. You've often asked, I've alluded to it here tonight, astrology should not run your life. Astrology is like a weather forecast. It's a seasonal energy map. It's a timing guide. It is not a prison, a dictator, a substitute for free will. The stars incline, they do not compel. Remember, you still get to choose. Like numerology, it's a tie-in for 2026. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10. Reduce 1 plus 0 equals 1. So this is a universal year of 1. A 1 year equals new beginnings, leadership, initiation, bold starts, a combination with Far Horse energy. This is a year of fresh cycles, decisive action, and courageous results. A 1 year is a year where you can do anything. You start, it's a whole new beginning. The other 8 years behind it is what you pay for this decisions you make in this 1 year. So not to intimidate, but this is a year when you sit and you have, okay, the other 9 years, the 9 cycles behind me, what am I going to do now? And the decisions you make now will carry forth as influences for the next cycle of 9. So combined with the horse energy, again, this is a year of fresh cycles, decisive action, and courageous resets. I can hardly wait. Okay, I'll ask Oz how he feels about that. But when you're attempting to look forward and you think this is a 1 year, it's kind of like, okay, I can do anything. It's anything I can do at all. What do you think about this 1 year, Oz?
Yeah, well, I like every year. So, but it's always good to start something new. I love starting something new.
Well, are you ready for what this show is forecasting from all these different aspects? It looks like it's going to be a dynamic year to move forward, changes afoot, energy for good, bad, or different. Are you ready?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll continue on.
We,
Hey, out there in the audience, uh, what is your Chinese zodiac sign? Do you know? Does your sign describe you accurately? Have you ever made a life decision based on astrology? Did it happen? Do you believe astrological predictions and world events? Do you live by them, shall we say? Do you pick up the newspaper and read well, I guess go online now and get your daily forecast? I hope you don't. Is free will stronger than fate? Yes, it is. Have you experienced a bad year astrologically? Let us know. Extend this into the show and let us know. We have some time left here in the show. Want to hear from you. This is the Soul Report live show, and you can go to the website. Sorry, you can check us out online and get some amazing information from some of the guests we've had here. So please subscribe to the show. Like us, let us know, because the more people we can get tuned into our show, the bigger and better it's going to get. Yes, Oz, we got a question or two.
Yeah, well, Real on YouTube asks, do you see the planet getting extremely worse sooner?
Yes.
No?
See this book over my shoulder here? It's called The New Earth. Go to my website, douglasjamescottrell.com, and buy one. Buy a couple and give them to your friends. It has accurately predicted prophecy of what's going on right now and beyond. Just was another eruption in Hawaii, another volcano taking place. I predicted that this is a time when the world changes. The world is tilting. It's going to maybe tilt so much that it might rotate on its axis. The big thing that's not in the news every day are volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and the volcanic ash that's being put into the sky, into the heavens above. It's going to cause enormous problems. We're going to see the animals. I think I said on the show, I had a vision where there were sharks and whales right up along the shore. I'm not sure whether it was Florida of Australia, but I remember the two of them were, the two species were right close to the shore. These are animals that sit deep in the ocean. What are they doing right up at the shore? I've seen that before. So as we move forward, yes, the planet is going to go through some traumatic changes. And the rule is, Edgar Casey once predicted a safe place, because the oceans are going to rock in their basins if the world continues to shift on its axis. He said a safe place is 200 miles inland from anyone that lives around the coastlines of oceans. So something to keep in mind. Nostradamus had a vision of many people that were drowned, floating in the ocean, and he didn't know why. And this quatrain is coming up now. More and more people are paying attention to this time of when when the oceans might rock, or people might be affected by ocean currents. And as we look around the world, we talked on this show that there's another continent off the coast of New Zealand. It's actually called the eighth continent because it's just below the surface. It used to be a huge continent, and everyone agrees they can see it from above, but it's below the surface of the water. Well, this has happened to Atlantis and Lemuria and different places around the world and other continents and shorelines. Every now and then you'll see some discovery made just off the shoreline of some city that's been submerged, or in Japan, huge blocks that have been roadways leading off into the ocean. They're all submerged. That's happened in the past. It's going to happen in the present. However, if you're living inland, you're pretty much guaranteed to be in a safe place. But your soul will always be exactly where it's supposed to be. So if you're living on the edge of the ocean, that's where you're supposed to be. If you're living in Arizona or the Four Corners, that's a really safe place. If you live in around the Great Lakes, that's a really nice, safe place to be. However, the world goes through extreme weather changes as we're experiencing now. This is going to be a fiery year. We thought California fires were terrible. Well, there's going to be more. And you can see the fire in the temper and the anger in people. This is going to cause more loss of life than anything else. But to the question, yes, it's a time of renovation. It's going to last until about 2030, and then by 2030 or 33, we'll be back to normal. Remember, the pendulum swings one way or the other. But remember this, your soul will always, always put you in a safe place. You'll have a dream. You'll have a vision. Remember when baby Jesus was in the desert, the angel came and told his father and mother, "Get ye to Egypt." And so they packed up immediately and they went off to Egypt, and they avoided King Herod's assassination of all the innocents. So if you become spiritual, you become in tune, you develop your spiritual abilities, you will have dreams that you'll remember, and you will be guided by the watchers, by the angels above, people in the afterlife that care about you, like mommy or grandma. They'll come back and they'll tell you what to do. That is to say, they'll suggest. Nobody tells you from the other side what to do. That's a misspeaking of me, but they will suggest, you know, Australia would be a good place or something. But you have to have an inkling in your mind. Where is a safe place? What should I do? I've said it before. Things of value in the future, which is now coming true, were silver coins and gold coins. Everybody should have some. Also, copper coins or copper slugs are important, and seeds. Seeds are very important, and so is fresh water. Number one, if you want to get out of slavery, get out of debt. Learn how to make money while you're sleeping. Learn the difference between spending your money, which costs you money, like buying a $300 coat, that cost you money, or by learning how to make money while you sleep, buying some favorite stocks like Costco or some other company that you like, or some other way to make money while you sleep. Next question.
Yeah, it's about dreams. Um, Questions from YouTube. This too shall pass. Can dreams correct a false statement I said earlier in that day? Example, if I say I can't do something, then I have a dream that night showing that I can. I just need to change my approach.
Well, that's not correction, that's direction. You've said, I can't do something, and your high self has given you a communication through a dream and said, yes, you can. However, you need to change, what was it, your direction? So
Yeah.
it wasn't a correction that you misspoke. It was, let's call it a suggestion that, yes, you can be successful, but you need to be different. You need to go in a different way. Change your direction. Now, that's guidance from above. That's gold. That's the best. That's the best advisor you can possibly have advising you, because it's your high self that cares about you. So when you make a mistake and you say something and you have a dream that says, yeah, you can be successful, but you have to do something different, it's helping you find your way. Otherwise, if it was just mumbo jumbo, it wouldn't mean anything. You wouldn't get the dream. Make sense? That's whoever that caller is. It's amazing. They're getting spiritual direction and coaching from above. Good for them. One more, Oz?
Yeah, we got one from the Lone Ranger. They are worried that they may close the hospital that they work at. And this fire horse energy makes me feel like I gotta move, or maybe I'll get the rug pulled out. Should they move? Is there a future there, or should they look elsewhere?
Well, let's see, what is the problem? The problem is income. Not the hospital closing, not moving, not something else. The problem is, how do I replace the income I might lose when the hospital closes? So right now, you should be looking for a contingency of trying to figure out ways and means to make more money. You know, you could be an Uber driver. You could go work at McDonald's. You can shine shoes. You could mow lawns. I'm talking, you know, just get ideas how you could make money quickly. So the idea is, first of all, say, okay, if the change is coming, I can't do anything about it. But that doesn't matter to me about the hospital closing. What matters to you is increasing your income or sustaining your income. And you know what? Usually, when these circumstances happen, you get a better job, you have a better source of income, and you have a place you really like working at. So ask for a dream. Where can I increase my income? Where can I have a employment, or what can I have a business? Can I be an entrepreneur? Can I do something? Doesn't matter if it starts off small, because all things come to you and are small, and they grow. That's how God works. Plants the seed, then the growth happens. You can't say, I'm a physician and I want to change jobs and I want to be a CEO of a business, or I want to have my own business and I'll be CEO at the same level of income. It doesn't work that way. It works that you say, I'm a physician, you know what? And I love horses. I'm going to start a petting zoo with horses. I'm going to start a riding academy with horses. I'm going to go work at a place where they have horses. And then I'm going to find out all about the horse business. And then I'm going to have my own business with horses. That's how you do it. You usually change your life theoretically 4 to 6 times. Most of the people I went to school with who went to university, only one of them actually went into a position where he had trained and he became a lab technician. Everyone else went different ways. One fellow ended up selling carpet at a department store. He had worked there in the summers while he was going to school, and he liked it so much he stayed on. He loved it. And as such, I use as an example because we were all going like, you didn't go to school to be an architect, like you're going to sell carpet. And he said, yeah, I like it. So, okay, what can we say? So the bottom line is to this question is this: the closing of the hospital's got nothing to do with your future, nothing to do with your choices. What you're really saying is, am I dependent on that hospital? Is that God? Or am I going to be given an opportunity by God, because God is the one I'm dependent on, not the hospital. God provides all things. I hope that makes sense. I've gone through changes like this myself. I was in a newspaper business and I left, and everybody thought I was absolutely crazy. My children still, my youngest son still thinks, Dad, you would have been long retired and had a great pension. Yeah, but I went into the spiritual world. That's where my calling was. And here I am doing what I was destined to do. So identify the problem, not the problem of the hospital closing. It's a situation where you now have to make a shift, make a change. And when you make those changes, and you're paying attention to it, you're ahead of the game. Remember, other people are driven and they accept whatever comes their way. The way to be successful is you choose your way, free will and free choice. Now, maybe that does require a move. I don't know. But if you don't want to move, don't feel like you're in prison, you say, okay, where around me can I make a living? And then you keep going like that. And other people are making a living right on the computer. There are more millionaires that are teenagers now than there ever has been in the history of mankind. So we have a few more questions, or I should get to the rest of the show here.
Yep. We got one more question. It's vocation related from Celtic Seer. When will I find work in the financial services field? Came close over a year ago, but it fell through. Would appreciate some direction.
Okay, where are you looking is the question. I see that you've got so many different things to look at, that you're a very creative and smart person, but that doesn't make anybody rich. One direction and one direction only. That's how you become rich. You can't go in 5 different directions. If you were on an airplane and you wanted to go to Hawaii, would the airplane go to Mexico or Greenland or San Francisco? No, it would go to where it was supposed to go, to Hawaii, and it would keep on course. So tenacity and patience, but select the one thing you want to do and then get into it. Ask people around what their advice would be on how they moved up the ladder, and people will tell you. But I see you as a creative person and too many interests, too many choices, like a lot of smart people. But you can only go in one direction at one time. So find somebody that you like or admire some position and say, okay, I want to be that. What do I need to get to be that person? And then do everything you can to make it happen. Don't stop. To be tenacious means you don't quit. I think that's what you're happening. You're getting discouraged. You go a certain way. Somebody throws you the curve and says you don't want to do that, and you go, oh, okay. Don't listen to people. People will always throw you the curve, meaning they'll misdirect you. You have to be brave enough, and especially this year with all these energies, to say, okay, what is it I want to be? And I'm willing to start at the bottom to get to the top. You can't start at the top. Okay? You look around and the entrepreneurs that are very wealthy, they started humbly. Many of them don't have education. But if you want to get into the financial world, what the heck is that? What do you mean? Do you want to work in a bank? Do you want to be a stockbroker? Do you want to be in the insurance business? Do you want to be somewhat as a coach or somebody advising people? Do you want to be someone who helps people with their pensions and their investment planning? What is it you want to do? What do you like to do? Another way of doing that is, what do people need? And if you find a need in your community, you can fill it, and you will always have employment because you'll be fulfilling that need. And as you fill that need, learn to love your job. Okay, enough for advice on financial counseling here. So as we get towards the end of the show, we want to tell you what 2026 feels. Friends are looking. Sorry, astrology is like looking at the ocean from above. It tells you where currents are flowing, but you are the sailor. The Far Horse year is not about fear. It's about courage. To the last caller, be courageous. Don't let anybody get in your way. And tell yourself, I'm going successful every day. I'm more successful than yesterday. And you keep going. So this year is about riding life instead of life dragging you behind it. If 2026 feels intense, that means growth is happening. The horse does not walk slowly. It runs. The question is not, what will the stars do to us? The question is, what will we do with the energy available? Use this year to release old fears, start something bold, forgive quickly, move decisively, protect your peace, expand your show, me, and trust your intuition, you. Remember, don't let people throw you the curve. Everybody will do that, whether they're envious or not, whether they're doubters or not. If you tell them what you're doing, your tongue is the rudder of your success, they will more than likely tell you it won't work, it can't happen. Here's a story about Walt Disney and Disneyland. When he started out, this is a story told to me by my mentor, Ross Peterson, he would have an idea. So he would go and talk to people in a covert way and tell them the idea. If 9 out of 10 people told him it would never work, he got on it right away. If 9 out of 10 people thought it was fantastic, amazing, he dropped it. Think about that. 9 out of 10 people said it would never work, and he got on it and made it work. And that's why Walt Disney was so successful in one of the many ways that he was able and capable. But remember, he started out with a cartoon. He was in competition with a little bunny rabbit. Anyway, more about finding out, if you want to find out more about what you're capable of, do a search on people's history, and you'll find that, hey, they were just like you. Right now, like you, sitting there, nothing. Ambition, creativity, and you want to do something. This is the year to do it. This is the time when you get going. This is now the time for all of us in the zodiac, whether you're a rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat or sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, or pig. Now is the time to move forward. The year usually starts in late January, early February. So if you're born in January, you might not belong to this fire horse. You might belong to the previous sign. But for everyone else, it's a time to get going. Okay, we're running out of time here a little bit, so here's a little bit of information that I've asked, if I can find it here. Um, Advice from my amigo. This is AI. Friends, it looks like astrology is from the ocean above, which I've just read a moment ago. You are the sailor. The horse year is not about fear, it's about courage. So that's from AI. It tells us how to get going. The Chinese zodiac years are here for you to have the influence, the same as other astrology, but most importantly, it's for you to step on the gas and go real fast. If you were born in January, check your sign carefully. Remember, it's the middle of January forward. And again, the idea is to be compatible, the compatibility between the signs. I'm going to add this, even though we're running out of time here. A one sentence, a rat I'll give you the influences. A rat is clever, strategic, adaptable, and socially sharp, thrives on opportunity and quick thinking. An ox is steady, disciplined, loyal, dependable, a builder who values structure and long-term success. A tiger, bold, charismatic, impulsive, courageous, natural risk taker and leader. A rabbit is gentle tendencies, that is to say, gentle, diplomatic, refined, intuitive, prefers peace and emotional harmony. A dragon tendencies, powerful, visionary, confident, magnetic, born to lead and inspire. Snake tendencies, wise, mysterious, intuitive, strategic, thinks deeply before acting. Horse, independent, energetic, freedom loving, passionate, always moving forward. A goat or sheep, creative, sensitive, compassion, artistic, value beauty and emotional depth tendencies. Monkey tendencies, intelligence, witty, inventive, mischievous, solves problems creatively. Rooster tendencies, organized, outspoken, confident, precise, thrives on order and visibility. Dog, loyal, protective, honest, justice oriented, deep value fairness. A pig, last of but not the least, the tendencies, generous, warm hearted, pleasant, loving, sincere, enjoys comfort and kindness. And I'll add this just before we go. The quick compatibility highlights, just for fun, the best natural harmony groups are rat, dragon, and monkey. Smart, ambitious, strategic, the trio. The next group, ox, snake, and rooster. Grounded, practical, stable energy. And the next group, tiger, horse, dog. Passionate, action-driven, and justice-oriented. And the last and final group, rabbit, goat, and pig. Gentle, artistic, and emotionally aligned. So these are kind of your favorite groups of people to hang out with. Again, their tendencies. And so I can just see at the party saying, so I'm a goat. What's your sign? Oh, I'm a pig. No, I'm a rabbit. Okay, it can be fun. The most challenging pairings of the signs are a rat and a horse, ox and a goat, tiger and a monkey, a rabbit and a rooster, dragon and a dog, snake and a pig. You know, you might find your spouse is one of the opposite. You're a dragon and they're a dog. That doesn't mean you can't get along. Opposites don't mean impossible. They just mean growing through tension. Oh my gosh. Who benefits the most in the year of 2026? Well, the 5 horse years favors. Tiger, big action year, grounded in courage and reward. Horse, your spotlight year, mobility, visibility, and transformation. Dog, leadership and opportunities. Monkey, innovations pay off. These signs thrive in fast, bold energy. Who needs caution? Well, ox, that's me. This year pushes you to move faster than you prefer. Stay steady, don't be rushed. I have a vision of me on a roller coaster hanging on for dear life. Okay, a rat. Avoid impulsive financial risks. Rabbit may feel overwhelmed, protect emotional balance. And goat can feel this destabilized, focus on grounded motivation. So here we are, we're coming to the end of the show, my friends. Remember that this is a year that's going to be fast moving and intense. Go with the flow, hang on for dear life, but keep going, because a year of the horse means things are moving faster and going forward. So as we come to the end of the show, please subscribe to the show. Please give us a like. Click on those bells and things and indicators, and tell your friends all about the show. We'd love to hear them. We're going to have some interesting guests coming up here in the very near future. We have some very big VIP guests, I call them, who will tell you the secrets to motivation, how to make money, how to prosper, how to find God in your way, and much, much more. I'm your host, Douglas James Cottrell. Jack Balick is co-producing the show with me, and you're listening to the Soul Report Live. God bless you. See you right here next week. Take care, my friends. God bless and good luck.
Are you searching for clarity, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of the spiritual world around you? Meet Douglas James Cottrell, PhD, a visionary author and teacher who's helped countless people transform their lives. His books are a gateway to profound insights, offering guidance, inspiration, and the tools you need to unlock your full potential. From unlocking your intuition to discovering spiritual truths, Douglas's books are your trusted companions on the path to personal growth. Don't wait. Start your journey today. Visit his website douglasjamescottrell.com to explore and purchase his life-changing work. Your next breakthrough is just a page away.